path that we have to be the most ready that we can for this coming week. And on Wednesday, that's the first game of our season. Everything before that is to allow us to learn, grow, improve, maybe identify a few areas that we need to quickly improve. And tonight's game had a little bit of everything when it comes to getting us ready.
What have you learned from your team just out of the last two games? Have they kind of established identity yet, or?
We have to learn how to play with great effort for 40 minutes on defense. It's not an easy thing. Experienced teams, really talented teams, maybe some of the best defensive teams that we've had. If you judge them by the month of November, we were still a work in progress. And that's the starting point, to just be able to play for 40 minutes, the first 20 minutes of the game, and just be an incredibly cohesive, hard-playing unit. And effort and energy, it gets you a lot of things. And when you focus on effort and a bunch of guys playing hard, it kind of leads to the offensive end where you're unselfish. It's very seldom do you have a team that plays very together and with tremendous effort on the defensive end, and that same team on offense is selfish or doesn't move the ball. They really work together. So tonight we learned that. We had some great moments in both halves where we played both ends, and that's when we were at our best. But when our effort or the details of what we're supposed to do drop, our room for error, it lessens, and you feel that.
Because you've lost so many guys from last year and you've had pretty good teams in the past, are you going to have to be more patient with this group? New guys, still learning, all that kind of stuff?
I think so. It certainly feels like it's the first time for everything. And even at the end of the game, you're up 9 points, you're under the 2-minute mark, or you're in 2.5-minute mark. The teams who know how to win, they've been there before. It's not about scoring, it's about protecting the ball, running 30 seconds off or running 24 seconds off and getting a really great shot or getting fouled. It's not the time to take chances, and we made a couple of those at the end. But that's what the exhibition season is about. We'll address those things. We have a group of guys that I think are easy to coach when it comes to wanting to do well.
And after all these years, I haven't asked you this, but are you a patient man?
I don't know. I'll be more patient with this team.
Because you have to be. Yeah.
So you said this game had a little bit of everything to kind of test you, but besides the defense and what you're talking about there, or anything else that kind of jumped out at you that you weren't able to really get out of a practice that kind of you saw tonight, or that tested you guys?
Say it one more time.
Well, is there anything in this game, you mentioned it touched on a lot of different things you were looking to get this team ready for. Wondering, besides the defense and what you've talked about, anything that jumped out at you as far as?
No, not really. A lot of guys in different roles. I thought Brandon Randolph and Brandon Williams both had some great moments on offense. If you think about their performances, they combined for 15 of 27 from the field, 8 for 13 from the three-point line. They took good threes. Both guys we really believe in as shooters, and they combined for 42 points. So they were very efficient, and 42 of 75 coming from 2 spots. They made big plays when they counted. Brandon Williams got our team off to a really good start in terms of our own offense, just because he was so hot at the beginning of the game. But both of those guys are very talented, and now it's up to us to to continue to develop them and build around them.
How Brandon Williams played, he plays downhill a lot, because goes to the basket. There's a lot. That's what you saw, obviously, when you recruited him, but that's how he is, kind of, if you need some points to get to the basket.
He is. He can both score and he can facilitate. He's very unselfish. He's a freshman, though. He's learning. There were a number of situations that he was involved in tonight, especially on defense, where, he has to learn from it, see it, understand the consequences. The ball goes in. Bad things happen to our team if he's in the wrong place. But of all the freshmen that we've had, the month of November is certainly the most difficult month for them, because everything hits them all at once for the first time. But all things considered, Brandon Williams, he played a very, very good game tonight, and I would say the same thing about Brandon Randolph.
Do you find, and Brandon played a lot early, and a lot took a lot of opportunities there. Do you have to kind of watch him as far as fatigue and not giving him too much to do? You've talked a lot about how, you know, he's playing both positions, freshman, and a lot of minutes. You know, how do you manage that?
You know, he has a big role on our team, and we're getting him ready for that big role.
What did you see out of Chase one, and what do you hope to see from Chase?
You know, Chase has missed quite a bit of practice over the last week and a half due to his injury, but most importantly, his injury is improving. And whatever percentage he was a few days ago, he's that much closer towards being 100%. So when you miss that much time, it was just great for him to get out there for the first time. I mean, consider this, he also didn't play a year ago in games, so he's itching to get out there. But he's a really important part of our team. He's an excellent player. I wouldn't judge him on tonight's performance, whether it was good or bad, because it's certainly more on his path to recovery. I think when we get to Wednesday, assuming there's no setbacks, you'll see him maybe in his true form.
Outside of his size, what makes your team different when he's in the game?
He does. He gives us size and all the things that come with it. You know, a putback on an offensive rebound, somebody around the basket that can block the shot that's harder to score against. You saw it even tonight in the limited role that he had. He's also very fleet of foot. He's quick, smart, and for a guy 6'10", he can move. So that's something that we really count on defensively. And Chase is an excellent defensive player. You know, again, he had some good moments tonight, but tonight was just more about letting him play and getting him out there for the first time in a long time.
Do you call both Brandon